Drew here. It's been a few weeks, I think, with all the everything going on. Kind of wanted to wait until the dust settled
out there, Jason.
Huh?
Yeah, without a doubt that it's been a little while since we've been able to get together.
Yeah, it has, and you've grown a little facial hair.
Yeah, it's getting a little out of control as so.
I feel a little bad that I shaved this morning.
You should. You got to kind of have the quarantine look going.
I know. I might have to get on that boat.
There you go. But yeah, just had some questions for you, Jason, in regards to the current situation of everything that's going on with kind of this COVID-19 virus, the spread of it, kind of what's been going on all across the nation as well as the globe. So, but let's dive more specifically into the Kansas City, Missouri area, and kind of what's been going on with the real estate market. Let's have you first start with talking about the buyers, and then I'll have you go into the sellers here in just a couple minutes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's daily changing. Our broker has done a really good job. She puts out a daily call at 11 o'clock, and I mean, it's daily. So just updating every one of us on kind of what the new changes are, the new guidelines, and right now it's kind of county by county that some are, restricting more. But really, the biggest thing on the buyer side is, I mean, they're just trying to really cut down on the face-to-face. So they don't so much like agents to meet buyers out there, but really, like, say you want to go see a house. Number one, they're asking you, I mean, typically, buyer and agents, pick a list of 5 houses to go out and see, and they go, but you might get to a house and like, I don't like the neighborhood. I don't like the eyesore next door or something. Well, they're asking you now to take that list, drive by it yourself as the buyer first, and make sure you like the neighborhood, make sure you like the outside of the house first before you want to get inside, which, makes sense and probably should be, common practice anyway. But at that point, schedule a showing, and the buyer needs to sign a hold harmless agreement, basically stating like, hey, if you end up getting coronavirus, it's not because of this, and just kind of a CYA clause. But so you sign that, go in, and the agent's supposed to, have a pack of wipes. They're the ones opening all the doors, touching the doorknobs, turning the switches on and off, and then wiping everything down. So that's kind of the protocol. Everything else, I mean, they say wear a mask. It's really your own comfort level. But that's what's changed so far. But they also say that they don't want buyers out there unless they have a critical need to move. Like if you're transferring for a job and you have to find a house right now, or if you've already got yours under contract, your current home, and you're going to be homeless. Just critical need is a loose term, but kind of leave it up to the individual on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely there are still people needing to move, depending on their circumstances, and get into a new home potentially. So yeah, without a doubt that real estate is still moving without question. So maybe just at a little bit of a slower rate than what we're usually used to this time of year. So now, Jason, let's have you chat about the buyers and what it's looking like for them out there. Or, I mean, sellers.
Yeah. So a lot of the same protocols, listings, they're saying any listings that are coming on right now that you're trying to put on the market, that the seller has a critical need. And also they need to sign the hold harmless agreement, upon listing the house, and, be aware that there's going to be buyers coming in and they're not going to be tested, beforehand. So that's the biggest thing. And like I said before, on the counties, each county, like Wyandotte County here, they're, kind of, saying that after April 1st, a few days ago, that they don't want any new listings come on. And that's, I haven't heard if that's been 100%, but that's kind of the direction they were going. But yeah, and the sad thing is, like, with the restaurants and all the other businesses being closed down or restricted, they're just hoping to break even at this point. But I've got a seller that they're probably going to have to put their house on the market and use their equity to keep their business afloat until things, kind of come back to the new normal. So it's just sad. I mean, some of the positions that people are being put into right now, but yeah, that's kind of the gist of it on the seller side.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been definitely some people are having some really tough times with all of this. I mean, job losses going on across the country, as well as potentiality of lost income, all those sorts of things. So, um, yeah, without a doubt, it's definitely becoming a harder and harder time for everybody across the country.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, Jason, how do you kind of foresee things down the road getting back to normal, and the market getting back to normal, once we're able to get to a point where we're able to slow, if not stop, COVID-19 and the spread of it?
Yep. So yeah, that's a great question. The new normal, what's going to happen when things, I mean, really, what's going to happen when people get back to work and can safely feel like they can get out of their house? And Trump, I think it was last week, came on and kind of addressed this issue or this question, and I 100% agree. There's going to be a pent up demand. I mean, right now the market's so good. I mean, buyers are getting out there. I mean, we put a listing on, I think it was late Monday, 4 days ago, and we had 2 offers on it. Full price. I mean, so buyers it's kind of like they don't know what's going to happen, so they're out there right now trying to get something on a contract. So if things restrict even more, I think those same buyers they're going to want to buy. So when it opens back up, there's going to be pent up demand more. Right now I think a lot of sellers are probably doing projects around their house, thinking like, hey, once this lifts, we're going to put our house on the market. So you've got that aspect of it too. So you're going to see more listings, and then the same buyers plus the new buyers that were going to wait anyway are going to get back out there. So I think you're going to have still kind of like a similar market, but maybe even a little bit more heavy, just as a need to get something, and the supply is not going to be 100% there yet. So it's going to be interesting. But with that same respect, I mean, I don't think every person that's been furloughed or laid off is going to get their job back. And you're going to have, depending on how they handle the whole interruption of income, on the lending side, you're going to have some that can't, qualify right now.
Yeah, without question. I mean, that's definitely a possibility. It's just a matter of how much of a possibility, so to speak, of
Right.
what that number looks like, So, I know, but prior to us hopping on this, you were mentioning some lending changes, some different things that have been going on in the lending world. So let's have you dive into some of those, Jason. What are those looking like? I know interest rates are still extremely low. So what is the different lending changes that have gone on just as of late?
Yeah. So I think it was just Tuesday or Wednesday where FHA came out and made some changes. So really, the investors that back the FHA government loans and the VA loans, and that goes for USDA as well, they're kind of holding off, and I mean they're shying away a little bit as well. So some of the guidelines for FHA that changed is the credit score minimums went up, your debt to income limits decreased, so you can't be as highly leveraged and still get FHA, and that's what that product was kind of made for. So there, I mean, I don't know. I mean, just the changes that were made there, I would say, just a guesstimation, probably 30 to 40% of those buyers that were already approved FHA probably don't qualify anymore. So you either have to bump it up to conventional, which is, a 1.5% higher down payment, which they may or may not have. And then the credit score minimums go up, and debt to income changes a little bit too. So I don't know, maybe the 30 of those might qualify for conventional. So yeah, it's just going to change things. And I've had a couple buyers that were FHA, you'll reach out and kind of just like, hey, we're probably gonna have to hold off for 6 to 12 months and kind of see what happens. And when we get back to normal, But the biggest thing my lender said was Saul with Prime Lending. By the way, I want to give him credit for this is the next topic right here. A little stay-at-home schooling. But he just said, communication is key right now. If you are furloughed or if you're off work and you're under contract, just be honest. Because they're checking day of closing with verification of employment. They're trying to get a hold of HR some way, shape, or form, and they have to verify that you are still employed. And if you're furloughed, and say you're furloughed at 20% of your income, you have to qualify on that new furlough. So he's had some cases where they've had to delay it until they go back to their full income or something else changes. So anyway, yeah, there's definitely some changes, and again, just like the real estate side, it's every day changing. You just got to stay on top of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure every day it's a new adventure with everything that's going on. That's for sure. So again, kind of wrapping up with my last question here, Jason. So what's the social distancing / self-quarantining life looking for you guys, and how's it going for you?
Well, yeah, I think that's left up to everyone's comfort level, but here at home doesn't seem to be taking much of effect. Our 3-year-old, he ran up and hugged one of the neighbors the other day, and he was trying to hold him back. But he doesn't understand. Every day he's asking me, like, we got school today? I'm like, yep. You got school at home? Yep. So, but yeah, it's crazy. We're homeschooling till about noon, and trying to do our work, the rest of the half of the day. So it's definitely a challenge, but I tell you, like we were talking before the call, it's brought people together. I've met some neighbors and had deeper conversations with some neighbors from a distance than we have in the last 7 years that we've been here. So I think there's a good and bad to it, but I always try to put the positive spin on it, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really all anybody can do at this point,
Yeah.
Keep that positive mindset of this will pass and it shall pass in due time, but we each just kind of need to do our social responsibility, so to speak,
Right.
distancing and trying to do everything we can to stop the spread of COVID-19. So other than that, Jason, you're not losing your sanity or anything on me over there, are you?
I'm not. Jana, on the other hand, she's right there.
Getting close. So, all right, perfect. Well, I appreciate the time today, Jason, as well as answering my questions about what's going on in the KCMO market. Other than that, that's really all I got for us today. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, buddy. Maybe next time we could have a little bit less serious conversation to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's hope for the best,
Yeah. All right, buddy. Stay safe. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good, Jason.
All right.